Hi, I am David and I am 17 years old. I'm from Mexico and I live in Mexico City. This is the presentation for my final project, Mario Coins. My final project is a simple web game written in JavaScript with the help of a framework called phaser.js, which includes useful functions for adding animations and physics to objects in an easier way. So here is the folder for my final project. Here are all the files that I use for my game. First is index.html and style.css, which are the files that I use for my web page design, Mario.js, which is the game itself, and phaser.js, which is the framework which I use for the functions for my game. So I use the brackets editor, which is pretty useful and has pretty cool things. And first is index.html, which has the design of my page. And at the top I have the links to my JS files and an icon, some images, and in the body I have the div which is called game, which will have the game when the game begins, and two tables. One is for the controls for the gamepads and the other one is for the controls for the keyboard. And at the bottom I have two buttons which are called begin and try again, and the first one calls a function called begin which starts the game. In Mario.js, as I said, I have all the functions for my game. So first I have all the global variables which I use for controlling the state of my game. And here's the function begin, which is called when the start button is pressed. What it does is it creates a new game with the phaser function called game, which takes as parameters the width and the height of the game and some functions that it will be using throughout the game. It uses three main functions which are called preload, create, and update. The first one, preload, is used to load images and all the resources you'll be using through the game. Create is the one that initializes all those things that you preloaded before, and it creates buttons, adds physics and animations to the players, and establishes everything for beginning the game. And the update function is the one that runs continuously and has all the conditions that change the status of the game. So here are all the functions that I used and some other functions that I wrote, and that's all. So right now I'm using one server in order to use my final project. So here is it, localhost, and here's my final project. So here's my web page, which has a super basic design because I'm not really too much into HTML, but the main point of my project was the JavaScript game. So here are some images, the background of my web page, and tables which show the controls for the keyboard and the gamepad. Also two buttons which start the game and for trying again. My game was programmed so that it can be played with different devices such as gamepads, keyboards, the mouse of a computer, and works with touch devices too. The unique purpose of this game is to collect coins through different short levels using Mario and the controls that can be used to play. This was my first approach to game development, so I hope you like it. I'm David and this was CS50.